There we go. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome all to this 30-minute webinar where we'll be looking at the community and some other ready-made resources on Boardmaker Online. My name is Tina Voisey. I'm the Education Manager for Tobii Dynavox in the UK and Ireland. I am supported today by Debbie Breslin, who is our Account Manager for the North of England and Scotland. Welcome to you all. I realize we've got people from the US, Canada, and all over the UK and Ireland. So welcome to you. You will get, as a follow-up to this training, a copy of the PowerPoint, which will be in a PDF format with lots of hyperlinks to help you check things out and do things in your own time, because I am going to go at a fast pace. We've got a lot to cover in a short amount of time, but there'll be plenty of follow-up and further opportunities for you to do things in your own time or alongside one of our account managers or colleagues, depending where you are. We will also send a recording of this webinar, which you're welcome to share any of the materials that we give to you with colleagues, friends and family, whoever may find it helpful. For those of you new to Zoom, we've got the toolbar. You should see that on your screen. If you do have a question, we're going to ask you to go to chat, although we are a nice small group today. So if you're feeling brave, you can unmute yourself and ask questions when I pause at specific times to address questions. Otherwise, you can chat your question into Debbie and she'll let me know. There is a participants button as well, which allows you to kind of interact with us using emojis if you'd like to do that. We will answer questions on a first come, first served basis. We're a nice small group today, so hopefully if you've got questions, we'll be able to get to them all. If not, you can stick around after. We can answer them there. We'll also send any answers via email after. So, Boardmaker Community. I did this PowerPoint probably a month ago, so I'm sure this number has jumped up considerably. We'll look in a minute. The Boardmaker Community is filled with ready-made resources shared by Boardmaker users all over the world. So when I took this screenshot, we were nearly at 85,000 resources that have been shared. And using these ready-made activities is obviously going to save you so much time, because you could have a kindred spirit somewhere on the other side of the planet who's making resources that are perfect for the people you're supporting. And they have made a conscious decision to share that resource to the community. So they're saying, go for it, use my work and do with it what you will. So we're going to show you how you can get in touch with, go and find those and save time. I also think that the community, I kind of liken it to Pinterest. I don't know if any of you use Pinterest, but it's a great way to be inspired by new ideas and see how other people are presenting information. Even if the content isn't exactly right for you, I'm sure looking through these resources, you're going to be inspired by what other people have shared to maybe use a different type of template or set something up a little bit differently than you have been. The Boardmaker online community is also a wonderful place to collaborate with colleagues. Some of you may be a part of what we call a district account. So Boardmaker Online has been purchased as a group. You're working with your team of speech and language therapists or your school, or maybe a conglomerate of schools working together. And the Boardmaker Online community is a great way to collaborate with these colleagues, but always allowing you the ability to edit to meet the specific needs of your learners. You'll see, because there's so many resources, and I'm going to go into a demo after I kind of lay the groundwork here, how you can narrow your results. So 85,000 is a lot to scroll through, but you can take a look at specific subjects and categories or grade levels, whether you prefer to have a printed or an interactive resource. You can use the community with older versions of Boardmaker. So if you still have version 6 or Studio, you can also filter by activity type. Although if you've got Boardmaker Online, the full editing system, you can open any single one of them. We do have the ability to filter by language, but to be honest, the vast majority of this is within English, both UK and American English. but we do have pockets of people around the world sharing resources in other languages. And we can also share resources that have been made only within my organization. So I can narrow my results to see things that only people who are in this district account, this organization that I'm a part of, I can narrow down just to see the stuff they're sharing because we've standardized a certain type of symbol for specific words, or we're all using the same kind of layout for a visual timetable. So I want to narrow that down. And I'm going to illustrate all of this for you in a bit. We can also create and participate in groups. So if you're using Facebook, you're probably familiar with groups where you can join a group based on a specific interest or where you live in the world. And we can do that in the community as well. We can create and join groups where resources are being curated to meet that specific interest or that specific user group. And there are some really great groups for you to join. For those of you in the UK and Ireland, we have a group where we've got lots of topical and thematic resources about the holidays and traditions and culture over here. There's also Core First by Toby Dynavox. This is a group that has been curated by Toby Dynavox, where we're sharing lots of resources to support Snap Core First. So anybody who's using our robust AAC app, then we have these low-tech background or backups that you can get your hands on. Just noticing I've got a typo there. Just fix that typo. We also have Symbols for All. Those of you up in Scotland, you're going to be familiar with Symbols for All, which is a initiative run by Call Scotland, which is an organization for those of you outside of Scotland that give lots of advice and support for schools around communication and assistive technology. The group is open for anyone to join, but these are three we're just highlighting, and I'll show you how you can find lots of other groups and how you can create your own group as well. As far as sharing, now that group, those 85,000 resources that are there for you to take a look at, everyone has made the decision to share those. So it's a very deliberate decision where you have to go in, and I'm going to show you this, how you have to go in and change your privacy settings to decide whether what you've made can be seen only for you, which is the default, because we know that you're working with sensitive information. You've got photographs of the people that you're supporting. You may have information about where they go to school or where they live, which absolutely needs to and should stay private to only you. So that is the default. But then you can also make a decision to share this with everyone, which is the worldwide Boardmaker Online community, or my organization only, that group, that district account that you're working within. And I'll show you how you make that very conscious decision to change the privacy settings of your resources to make them shareable throughout the community. You can also decide whether you want to share with the community. And last I heard, there's over 500,000 people who are a part of this community. So you can decide whether you want to share that with the community, whether you want to share it with a group. And we'll see how groups can be open or private. So you can have a private group that only people you know and trust are allowed to join. So that's a great way. Maybe if you've got a student transitioning from one school to another, both schools have Boardmaker, and you can share resources within a group privately. And you can also share with a friend. So you can make friends within the Boardmaker community and share that way. So you've got lots of control over where your content is being displayed and who you're sharing it with. And it's really simple to share with a group or a friend. I'm going to show you how. It's the click of a button and things will appear for the people that you want to share it with. I also want to show you, as we're talking about ready-made activities, there are some ready-made activities within Boardmaker Online that are there waiting for you to make use of. They are created by the Boardmaker team, so they are to a very professional level. There's the Boardmaker activity packs, which are professionally designed. They're instructional activity packs. They cover lots of different topics, from literacy instruction to curricula topics. They are ready for immediate use. So I know some of you have come to us just having done the print webinar, and maybe now you're starting to get a little curious about interactive. These Boardmaker activity packs are a great way to get some ready-made interactive content that you can kind of see how it works and play around with. There are also some online sample activities. So this goes beyond what we give you in your templates. It's more sample activities, how you can create activities within Boardmaker Online, just to kind of inspire you and use as is. So we'll hopefully have a little bit of time. I will certainly show you where you get to them, and you can have a play yourself, because they're free to anybody who has the Boardmaker Online package. And just a few screenshots, so you can see the activity packs have board games and a literacy series. There's a match and memory series. There's a quiz show series. The virtual field trips are fantastic right now when we're kind of staying close to home. It's a great way to experience different places for your learners. So they're wonderful packs, which I'll encourage you to take some time and look through, and I'll point out where you find them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you all of this, but remembering that I know I'm going at kind of warp speed because we have 30 minutes for this webinar, but I am going to send you links to supports, tutorials, short little videos that you can follow in your own time, okay, or share with colleagues and recreate what you're seeing me do today, because it would be impossible to keep up with me. I'm going very quickly, but we're going to give you lots of supports to do it in your own time. So I'm now going to get out of PowerPoint and share my other screen to show you Boardmaker Online. Whilst I'm doing that, Debbie, are you still with me? I don't know if Debbie, she was going to have to.
I am still with you.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's fine. There's no questions at the
No
moment.
questions. Does anybody have a question? Anybody want to unmute and ask a question at this point? Nope. All right, great. Then I am going to get started showing you in Boardmaker Online. I just want to move a few things out of the way here. In Boardmaker Online, how we find the community. So I've logged in. I'm on my home screen. And really the quickest and fastest way to start to find resources is to go right to this magnifying glass up here. Okay, so let's say I want to make, we were just talking about the temperature and the nice weather that some of us are getting at the moment. So I'd like to make some resources about the summer, because we're getting closer to the summer now, and I know I need some stuff to support my learners. So I've just clicked on that magnifying glass, typed in summer, and pressed return. And now I'm going to see there's 492 resources that people have shared that either have the word summer in the title or summer in the description. So there's lots that I can take a look at. Now let me explain what I am looking at here. First, I get a little thumbnail of what the resource might look like. Then I have some type of icon which indicates what type of resource it is. So the little piece of paper tells me it's a printed resource. These stacked pages tell me it's an activity set. So it's a series of interactive resources that I can do in order. The little monitor tells me that it is an interactive resource. And then we may see, here we go, a little monitor with a P. That tells me that it has performance tracking. That if I assign this to a student, it's an interactive resource that I assign to a student, that it will track data, that I'm going to be able to see the results of what they've worked on. Okay, so that's what that tells me. Then I have a hyperlink, which is going to bring me to more information. I'm going to click on that in just a second about this resource. I can also see when the resource was created, who it was created by, how many times people have viewed it, how many times people have added it or downloaded it. So this is, people interacting with it saying, this is really good. I would like to have a copy of this. So it gives us a little indication. We don't have any type of scoring system. We do not quality assure any of these. This is an open format, a forum for anyone to share. So some things you will open and go, ooh, that was interesting, and close it right back up and move on to the next thing. Other things you're going to open and they're going to be of an amazing quality, and you're going to be able to take them as is and use them straight on. So I'm going to open up this summer bingo that Kerry has created. I'm just going to click on that link because then I can see a little bit more. So I can see a bigger thumbnail here of what Kerry has created. If she has chosen to put a description, that will be there. She's just put a very short description saying it's about summer vocabulary. I can, with these buttons up at the top, now decide if I look at this, let me look a little bit closer. I'd like to play it. Even if it's a print activity, pressing play is going to open it up a bit bigger so I can take a little bit of a closer look. And if there are pages to this activity, I can flip through the pages and really look at it a little bit more in depth. So this is only one page. I would know if it has multiple pages because there'd be a little scroll button on the right-hand side. But this looks pretty good. I'm going to need to change it. I'm in the UK. We don't play baseball. We play cricket. But ultimately, I really like this. So this will work well for my learners. So if I decide this is something I want to use, then I'm going to press that little plus button. And that's going to take a copy of this bingo and put it into my Boardmaker, into my activities. So I'm just getting a copy of it. Any changes, when I change baseball to cricket, that does not affect Kerry's original. I now have a copy of it. I can also go take a look at Kerry and see, well, what else has she created? She likes bingo, I like bingo, or, she's creating something for adults or teenagers. It may be that, we have more in common. So if I click over, I can add her as a friend. So we can make a connection on here. And I can also see what else she's shared. See if there's anything else maybe I want to pinch from her and use in my classroom, in my learning environment. So here I can see there's, I've added it to my Boardmaker. These icons have now changed because I can do more with this. If it's perfect as is, I can print it. It will send it to the printer or print it as a PDF to send to the printer. I can assign it to my students. So if you know about interactive resources, or if you'd like to, we've got webinars in the future about this, but if it was an interactive resource, I could assign it for my students to then interact with. I can assign it to a playlist. Maybe I want to curate a playlist that I'm going to use on an interactive whiteboard in front of my group of learners. I can add this to a group. So I've created a group with some like-minded teachers, and I think this is a great resource. I'd like everybody else in my group to see that. I can share this with a friend. So here, if I click on this, all the friends that I've made on the Boardmaker online community, Debbie's being one of them. I know Debbie's doing some work on summer as well. So I'm just going to share that because I think she'd probably like to use that as well. And I can also click on this pencil, and then I can go to the Boardmaker online editor, and I can make changes to this because I want to get rid of baseball. I'd like to turn this to just be a little bit more appropriate for my learners. So it's going to open up the editor for me, and then I can edit this resource to make it right for my learners. So again, it doesn't change the work that Kerry's done. Here I can see baseball. I'm just going to type, because we play cricket. So I'm going to type in there. Sorry, that's actually a group. See, if I look over here, it says it's a group button. So it's going to edit a little bit differently. So I'm just going to delete this out. So I've just clicked and pressed delete. Or I could click on it and go to edit, and I could clear the contents. Let me do this one. I can go there and clear the contents. We'll change that one as well. And I'm going to change it to a standard button because that's going to work now in a way that I'm used to using Boardmaker. So now I can type in cricket, type my word, press return, and because I'm in UK English, and I know also, hold on a sec, I was showing yesterday, and I forgot to change it back, how to use only a very specific symbol library. So I'm just going into my user settings. I've got all these unticked, so let me tick them all. So I've got all my symbols there, including my British symbols. So let me do cricket. There we go. And now I can find cricket. And instead of shorts, I'm going to write bathing suit. There we go. And we'll use that one. Okay, so I've made that change now. If I want the symbols to be above, like Carrie has them, I can do that. Or if I want to change them all, I can change them all, make any kind of changes I want, but I'm not going to get too far into that. I can save this activity, summer, bingo, and I'll just call that UK since I know it's the one that I've edited for the UK. Okay, so we can take anything from the Boardmaker community and we can print it out, we can share it, we can assign it, and we can edit it. I'm just going to go back to my search results. Now, if I want to see the whole community and do lots of filtering without a search word, I can also go to my little magnifying glass and just press return. And I have an empty search. So we're now up to 90,000 resources. Told you it would have gone up quite a bit. It's gone up quite a bit since I took that screenshot. So now I've got empty. There's 90,000 resources. And I can also narrow my resources, my search here on the left-hand side. So I can also look to see anything that's been shared just by my organization. So these are things that have been shared by the people I work with, Debbie and Cameron. So I'm just seeing there's 95 resources that they have created, which I can filter by. If I want to see all the different subject types, or I want to look for different categories. So maybe I want to see what type of resources people have labeled for communication. I can go through this way. I can just get rid of that filter by clicking on the X. I can look for grade levels, interactive or activity types, and also which type of Boardmaker you've been using. So if you are still on version 6, you can get a Boardmaker Online community account and just search for Boardmaker 6 resources. Okay, so there's lots of different ways to filter. We can also filter if I type in, again, let's go to summer. I can also filter it if I want a specific type. So I want interactive, and then it will filter that down. Are there any questions?
No, no questions.
Okay. I want to get into groups and show you how we can create and find groups. So that's just looking at resources, and it will take anything that's been shared with everyone, and we can search through there. We can also go to this button up here to the community, and we can browse groups, and we can create a group. So let's first just do a quick browse of groups. And similar to searching for loose resources, we can also browse our groups by search words. So if you're looking for a group to support people who have autism or communication or core words or whatever it is, you can search the group up here. So let's go and look for a core. If I just type core, because I want to see maybe there, if there are groups that have to do with supporting, core word strategies, then I can search just for those, that word, and then see resources, how many members are in them, and how many activities. So if I find one, what's this, core AAC boards, I can then ask to join the group. Okay, I can see when it was created, and there were 15 members of it. I can also filter here to see what are the most popular, what has the most members. Let's see the activity, the groups. If they have a lot of members, they're probably going to be sharing more resources. And there we go. And we can see which are most popular. So this is a great way to search through. I can also, let me get rid of this. I can also search to see any groups that my organization has made. So we've got a lot of schools, a lot of therapy teams that are making groups for just within their organization. So they're making a group for maths activities or for onset sound activities or for literacy activities, and they're only sharing it within their group. So you can toggle that on and off and see if there are groups that have been created just within that district account, within that group that you are a part of. It's a great way to toggle and see, filter things down. Okay. Um, to create a group, we go to community and we click create group. So now I can put, let's see, Tuesday's webinar. If I want to put a description, it'll help people understand what it's about. This is a place for sharing resources. I can give it a little photo if I want, and then I can decide whether this group is public to my organization. So only people in this Toby Dynavox UK account can find this group. So it's a great way to keep things, organize things with the people you're working with, keep it private just within your team or your school, and share information that way. You can make it public so then anyone in the world can join it, or you can make the group private. So I'm supporting a learner in my classroom. He is transitioning from my school to another school. I know that other school has Boardmaker. I would like to share resources I have made for Stuart to his new teacher, but there's some sensitive information. I don't want that to go out to the world. I would like that just to be for me and his new teacher to be able to share. So I'm going to keep that private. Okay, so you've got lots of
Whilst you're there,
choices.
Tina, somebody's just asked a question. How do you upload activities to a private group?
I can show that in a moment.
Great.
And then only allow owner moderator of the group to invite friends. So it's a way you can control, and you can also control who can share activities. So some schools and teams really like that because they know they've got some best practices. They want to make sure that only those activities go up. So you can make all those choices. So I will keep this group to private since the question is how do we share. So I'm going to create this group. Okay, so it's a private group. I can invite members. So when I have made friends with people, and I'll show that in a second. So Debbie is a friend of mine. I can invite her to join. Oh, sorry, I have to add. I can invite her to join this group. So it's only she and I who are a part of this group. Okay, so it's just for us. Now I go back to my Boardmaker. I find resource that I want to share with her. So this summer bingo, which I just made, I can go to share activity. Okay, I can add things that I want in here. Now this is where I decide. Now, as it's a private group, it's only me and Debbie. Keeping it as only me means that only she and I can see it. If I do to my organization only, that means everyone within Toby Dynavox UK can see it. If I go to everyone, the whole world can see it. So I'll stick it with only me. And then I decide which group I want to add this to. So I'm going to add it to Tuesday's webinars. Those are all the groups I'm either members of or I've created. I can add or as many of these ticks. This just helps people find things. Grade levels, categorization. It's not mandatory. You can add things there if you want. And I update the file. Okay, now when Debbie goes to community and she goes to her groups, she will find, let me go if I just, the most recent, because I just made that. She's going to see in Tuesday's webinar, you can see there's one member, there's one activity, and there's what I've shared. Only Debbie and I can get to it because it's private, and she can then go in, just as you saw me do with that summer bingo that I saw with Kerry making. She can go in and she can add it. She'll have a little plus there. She can add it. Now she's got a copy. One last important thing I need to teach you is how you make friends, because you have to make those connections with people. If you go to community and you go to browse members, this is how you make those connections to share things with people. whether they're within your organization or outside, whether it's in a group or sending it via email. You do have to make those friend connections. If you are a part of a district account, if you click to my organization only, this shows me all the people who are a part of my account. Now, John and I don't think we're friends yet, so I'm going to click and add him as a friend. Now I can make a private group with him. I could send him resources straight from an email as well. So if I click onto this summer bingo, I can email that to him here too. Ooh, except it's private. I'd have to put it into a group to share him if it was for my group, my organization, or everyone. So I can go to the spanner at any time to change. If I change that now to my organization only, I can now update that file. Sorry. And then there's that summer bingo. I can now email it to John because I had kept the privacy for just the two of us. So now I can send it to him. He hasn't accepted my friend request yet, so that's why he's not there. Okay. It is 12:30. It's time for me to end. I just haven't had time to go into the premium activities that I highlighted, but just to let you know, right here is where you'll find the premium activities that I highlighted. These are free resources. I strongly suggest have a good play with them. If you are using the Boardmaker Student Center, if you're familiar with that, you can assign these to students to take a look and play with. They're a lot of fun. They're ready-made resources that you can assign and play. So take a look at those. Please join future webinars where we'll be talking about interactive and about using the Student Center to learn more about this. But it's a great way to experiment, see the kind of things, interactive stuff that you can use and make. Are there any questions, Debbie?
Yeah, there was one question. Somebody was asking about the blank templates, for example, bingo. So if you can just maybe go quickly into the templates. And
Don't have time. I'll do that if you just want to hold on. You're very welcome to join. We've got future webinars on interactive templates, on printed templates. I'm going to send you all that information after. I'm happy to stick on, but I would like to wrap this up for those that have to go. But if you'd like to know a little bit more about templates, I can show that after I finish the recording. And you're very welcome to come to another webinar where we talk all about using templates.
And there's one more quick question. So Boardmaker 7 came out. Does that apply to Boardmaker Online?
Okay, Boardmaker 7. Again, we're going to have a couple of webinars coming up about Boardmaker 7. That is the next generation of Boardmaker Online. So all of you who are using Boardmaker Online are going to just transition straight into Boardmaker 7. Everything that I just showed you using the community, groups, and friends is exactly the same in Boardmaker 7. Is the vast majority of everything you're learning about using Boardmaker Online right now. It's an update to Boardmaker Online. We're calling it Boardmaker 7. So we do have a couple of webinars. I will make sure I send you that information in the follow-up email. There are 2, and I think I'm going to be adding a 3rd date in June that will be introducing Boardmaker 7. And then for those of you who are in accounts right now, if you have a Boardmaker Online account, we are going to be sending lots of information over the next few weeks to let you know about the transition, which will be happening sometime late August, early September. Boardmaker 7 is not out yet. It's coming. Any other questions?
There's one more from Sue. I still don't have mail acceptance for interactive on 4 to 6. It's not in junk. Maybe you want to hang on, Sue, and we can take a look.
We can answer that after.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. For those of you that need to go, thank you very much for your time and your attention.